Welcome back everyone to Pinetopia. I have performed some more work here on the spider area, and as you can see, I've decided to put a second slot down here, but kept the original one all the way through. And the reason for that is because I do not have that same indentation where I have the glass. So the spiders are still going to climb this, and I want them to keep from going here and climbing up there. I am definitely have to going to do something about that probably. Probably turn that into cobble since it is behind glass, so it's less likely to get mossy. But yeah, regular stone there just doesn't look right. So I'll replace that with cobble so it will fit in a little bit better. And I have cobble going most of the way up. I still have that little bit open here, and that's going to remain that way until I get everything else working right, because that's going to be my access. Right now, though, what I need to do is to do some testing. Now, let's see what nasty things happen this time when I get rid of these torches. Why in the world did, oh, that's floating up on top of that. All right. Let's just maybe start getting some friends around, right? Perhaps I should open up a little bit more here. See how much darkness I can create. Let's see if we can get some spiders. A couple of them are crawling around and getting lost in that little area there, which is good. Unfortunately, as soon as they see me, they just climb up the walls. And that's something I'm just going to have to live with, I guess. I would need a lower design, I guess, in order to see them, in which case they'll just go naturally all climb up to a particular area. So I don't quite get the effect I wanted with all of those spiders being up there. I just have perhaps make the indentation with glass. If I do an indentation with glass, then I will every once in a while see spiders come up there. You see the legs of the spiders. If I had an indentation of glass, I could see a huge number of spiders perhaps over there. Looks like every once in a while one of them drops down. Now, of course, I do have all these torches and mossy cobble that I just now gave up in there. So, well, then that's the smiting sword. I want the arthropod sword. Yeah, let's see if I could quickly pick this up without getting killed by all the spiders. Really? Ha! They weren't even interested in me. Oh well. I have to ponder on that, and while I ponder on it, I'll go back up and let's return to the temple. Every once in a while I need to harvest this because I've decided to get a little bit more of the vines so I could have it around in the future. Now, concerning the roof of this, I took a closer look at the map in the module, and it appears that's intended to be a roof that is slanted on all four sides, and then in the middle it becomes a dome. Now, on the surface, that doesn't sound too bad, and it seems like that will fit with a squarish building, except for one little problem. And that is that the dome is going to be right about here, and it just doesn't fit with the layout of the upstairs. Not in the least. I think of domes as something that really belongs to a large central room with a very high area. For example, if the dome were above the sanctuary, then I would think it would be fitting. But the way it's set up in here, I don't know. I just don't feel it right. And in fact, the entire temple design just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like to me a temple to an agricultural goddess. Not in the least. It never did feel like it, but this was the design that was in the modules, so this is what I went with. It's pretty much become my main build for this series, but it doesn't feel like the proper type of building. So what will I be doing instead of this? That's what I'll be exploring for the month of April, is looking at an alternate way in which to do this. I want a temple that has a lot more air coming in. I want a temple that has sunlight on it, thus more of a greenhouse type of effect in here. The sanctuary is going to be something where we will be able to farm and have samples of actual growing plants. All right, maybe not 6 beehives as I had here. Perhaps I would be a little more restricted on doing that. Maybe one or two on there. It looks like our bees have all gone and gotten lost. So I'll obviously have to, I'm hoping, take better care of my bees because they do like to wander off. And I have a feeling one of the reasons they don't come back is because they go wandering off, they try to get back, and there's only this small little door which to get in. And while they are going to be reducing the wandering tendencies of bees in 1.16, that's not going to help us here. Whatever's the case, there's going to be a lot fewer restrictions to how the sanctuary feels to the outside. If we have any other rooms, for example, sleeping quarters and the like, they'll either be in a rear section that doesn't need to be in the open air, or we could have a basement where all, okay, well, at least I have at least one bee that's around still, or an under area where you can go and have your special rooms, and that we have upstairs is where we will have the whole thing dedicated to the agriculture goddess as well as to the various types of agriculture. And I think that will work a lot better. Now, I haven't got the full design in my head yet, but that's what I'll be working on for this month. Before we do that, though, I need to find a place in which to put this. And it looks like before I go and look for this place, I am going to need to make this area safer for my villagers because I don't want them falling in. Like, I was wondering what happened to that cleric. I was looking for that cleric for the last 3 days, wondering what happened to my cleric. And I was thinking that, did the illagers find him or something like that? Well, I suppose that wasn't the case. He just got lost and fell into a hole. And thank goodness it went and made some noises in which I was able to learn what was happening there. There you go. Another, oh, that's right. Like I'm going to get any of that now. But just in case, I am going to be needing some glowstone. I will get a little bit of that. Please don't wander too far. Your church is over there. villagers. And speaking of fear of villagers coming in and killing my clerics, another reason to find a new location for the temple is I want to find a place where we're less likely to have things spawning in and killing the villagers here. So I want someplace that's further away from the temples, from the village than this is. So that's another reason to find a new location. So I could redesign everything and on top of that have a new place for the that's further away from the village, so I won't have to worry about that. Oh yes, I went to the map so I could start looking for a nice suitable location. And we have a nice bit of plains, and I think that's what I'm going to use in order to do my search, is to look throughout the plains, and I'm hoping to find a nice area where we could have a large garden, because a nice large garden will, of course, fit the theme of everything. Now, I am going to need at least an acre for this. I'm hoping that this is a nice, reasonably flat acre where we could put stuff, but let's see what I can do. There's always terraforming that I could do or something like that. This is leaving off my map. See if I can find a place that's actually on my map. That's what I want to do. I want to go. Yeah, we're going to go back west in there. Get a place that's on my map. Perhaps near that river. I think nice and near a river would be perfect for this particular project. I want to go southwest is, I think, where I want to go eventually. And this is the area that I eventually settled upon. We've got a little raised area right over here where I think might be a good place for the sanctuary, and we could have perhaps you stepping up to there, and we can have farms and stuff like that going down. And I'm going to see if I could fit all of this into a 1 acre plot. Now, one of the advantages of this particular area, of course, is that it's nice and close to my original base. That means I've already got a nice storage system all made out. I never got a good storage system over at the village. I have a nice full storage system under there so I could keep my materials there that I need and don't need. The only thing it's not convenient for is trading with villagers. But as I'm trying to avoid being too close to the village, I think that'll serve my purposes quite well enough. So right around here then is where we are going to build. But before we can build, I need to section off a 1 acre plot. I have finally settled on my location. For this corner, we will have a nice little water hole here that can be used for either a water source for our clerics and workers, as well as a nice place perhaps for fishing if we can get the water deep enough to satisfy the new fishing rules that are coming. All right, and this is one corner on there. This is going to be 4 chunks by 4 chunks, or a total of 16 chunks. There you go. And that's second chunk, now into the third one, and finally the final chunk here. And then turn around here. Now we get a second pond over here. I'll probably have to shorten this one up. Actually, this one is deep enough for 1.16 fishing if I go into that area there, but I will have to shorten it up here so I can have a fence here. My plan is to have a spruce fence going all the way through where I currently have these at. I placed in torches at first so I don't go around starting to build here and then finding out that I got the dimensions all wrong, because it's better to have something quick and easy to measure with before you go and commit yourself too much on there. Now, let's see about where I want to put the altar. And sounds like the most logical place to put an altar is right over here. Now, we do have that, which is slightly higher, but that's on the corner there. I wonder if I want to do anything with this. Is there anything that will fit, that's agricultural wise, that will fit with this? Well, obviously this is a cave that I've been in before. Or is this something that I should fill in? I have to decide whether I fill it in, turn it into another pond, or if I try to figure out something agricultural wise, or maybe while we have this rise here for the altar, perhaps this little dip here, the depression here, could have some other purpose. I'll have to think on that. But worst comes to worst, I could always just take that high bit in there, which is already trying to compete with this for height. And for aesthetic reasons, I might want this to be the highest spot. So I might just take that down and then fill that in as to level that out a little bit. Something to think on. Or it just might be considered to be some sort of defensive structure. Matters to consider as I go along through this build, because the first thing though I just want to do is to get some fences to go all the way around so that I can have a nice border on here. And yes, I may have to fill in a couple of points on this pond too. I don't want water on the border, unless of course it's a river that flows out of here, and this leads to a river that goes along just outside the border. So the border is going to be formed by a river that goes out along here. Now this is the end of our border here, but the river will continue along a little bit. Maybe dump into there, or perhaps dump into there. Yes, that's what I'll do for that. But before any of that, I am going to get my fence. As we are near a spruce forest over there, I decided that the best type of fence to use for this would be a spruce fences. All right, we'll go right over here. I will still mark the chunk borders with the torches. And I'll do that for now. I will leave the middle bit open for now. I'll leave this open here, this open here. Yeah, I'll leave that 4 wide for the moment. And the reason for this is because this is going to be our entrance here. So I'll probably have some sort of gate or the like in order to handle that. And then just continue along our way until the entire area is enclosed. I have most of the fence up. On the map here, you can see that I have this square going 3 parts all the way around, so 3/4. I have the north, the east, and the south all done. Of course, I have this gap here, but that's an intentional gap as the future point of my gate. Now, this is having the awkward going down and going back up. I plan to fill in a bit of this so that the upward slope here would be a little bit more gentle, but it's not going to go up as high because, as I said before, I think I want that to be my main hill right over there where I'm going to be placing my altar. And then this will be evened out a little bit, so I won't have to worry about all this going up and down, up and down, up and down. Then down to this corner here, even though it's obviously the corner, we could still mark that. just outside of the sunflowers. I might move some of the flowers into here as a little bit of a garden, of course, because we will have some of that to add on top of it. Though, since this is going to also be agricultural, most of the plants here, of course, are going to be farm type crops. And all the way down to this corner here. Now, I quickly peter out here, and I'm not going to add those just yet because this is where I'm going to be creating my little stream. So I'm going to have this stream going down here along here. Once I have the stream in, I'll decide, am I going to be building a fence or not? Because if I have the stream running just outside, I'll probably build the stream, and if not, then I'll most likely just leave things as they are. I'll just have to decide as things go along. But I think that's as much time as we got today. Next time, we'll build the stream and get some serious planning on how we are going to tackle this particular area, because this has just turned into our main build, where I know the whole thing started with the season being arthropod centered, but when I started the corrupted temple down near the village, and in the game it is a corrupted temple, and I think it became corrupted because they had that crazy enclosed place that just didn't, in my opinion, fit for a good, proper agricultural temple. I think if they had a proper, more open temple design, they would not have been corrupted by those nasty, nasty cultists. But that's just what I'm thinking. So we'll start on the non-corrupted temple in our next episode of Piney Plays Minecraft Pinetopia.